Hi, I'm Danielle and I'm a Registered Dietitian Nutritionist. Today, I'm going to be talking about how IBD affects your body's energy or calorie needs and how this relates to weight, because I found many of my clients are unsure how much they actually need to eat to maintain weight, let alone gain or lose weight. Calorie needs of people with IBD are not greatly increased unless weight gain is desired. Why is this? There are two reasons we're going to be talking about today. One, basal metabolic rate or BMR, and two, physical activity. Generally, when disease activity increases, like when you're flaring, basal metabolic rate slightly increases too. So in case you aren't familiar with basal metabolic rate or BMR, it's the minimum number of calories required for your body's basic functions at rest. So think about functions like keeping your heart beating and keeping your lungs breathing. So with increased IBD disease activity, that does slightly increase your BMR, so you are burning a slightly larger number of calories at rest. But physical activity is usually greatly reduced when disease activity increases. So let's just put this into perspective using my husband with Crohn's disease as an example. When my husband's flaring, he's in pain, he may be having more diarrhea, his energy is usually low. All of those factors contribute to him needing more rest and not being very physically active. So even though his BMR is increasing slightly, overall, his calorie needs are not substantially changing because physical activity usually decreases. You may be wondering, if that's the case, why have I lost weight since being diagnosed with IBD? Two common reasons for weight loss are 1, decreased appetite during a flare, which leads to decreased intake, and 2, fear and anxiety of eating foods that could trigger symptoms, especially during a flare, which leads to a limited diet and decreased intake. While weight loss and malnutrition are common with IBD, alternatively, gaining undesired weight also occurs. Two common reasons for weight gain are 1, long-term courses of corticosteroids like prednisone that can lead to increased appetite, fluid retention, and changes to the location where the body stores fat, and 2, following a limited diet composed of only a few, perhaps calorically dense foods. For example, I'm working with someone right now with UC who was on the brat diet for 3 whole years before she started working with me, and she gained 80 pounds during that time. So, how does a dietitian estimate the number of calories that an individual needs to maintain his or her current weight? The short answer is that I'm using at least 5 different factors or variables: height, current weight, age, sex, and activity level. So those are a lot of factors, but let's just think about the big picture for a second. Let's compare my needs as a 5-foot-tall female to those of my husband with Crohn's who's 6 feet tall. Our energy or calorie needs are different. His body needs more than mine to maintain his weight. So that kind of makes sense for the height and sex variables. We talked a little bit about physical activity, but let's quickly chat about the other variables involved. Age makes a difference. Not really year to year, but say we're comparing the BMR of a 20-year-old to a 60-year-old, we're going to get a significantly different amount of calories recommended. In terms of current weight being a variable, we can think about it using Newton's second law of motion, often stated with the equation F equals ma. I promise I'm not going to bore you with more science here, but long story short, if you have more mass or weight, it takes more exertion or effort or more energy just to move your body around. So pretty much the bigger your weight, the more energy you need to burn to do the same things, just to move against gravity or force. So we can use my husband with Crohn's again as an example. He's a 6-foot-tall guy and he weighed 127 pounds at his lowest due to symptoms of the disease. He was pretty much afraid to eat at that point. But since I've been in the picture, he's been able to gain a healthy amount of weight, and he just weighed himself the other day. He's 185 pounds now. So pretty much, his body is burning more calories at rest at this weight than it did at his much lighter weight. So once you know how many calories your body needs to maintain weight, then we can start to talk about how much your body needs to gain or lose weight in a healthful way. And the great part about working with a dietitian like me is that I can help you find foods you like, fit with your condition, and meet your nutritional needs and goals. Did you find this video helpful? If so, feel free to let me know by liking it and subscribing to this YouTube channel. Thanks!